Hello, Jen Gilchrist here. I am excited to do a twin flame energy check-in, and I'm going to be doing it with the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine with some angel guidances, as well as taking a look at, what particular transformation is each person going through right now, as well as what's in their head and heart space and their 5D space, like what's coming forward. What is the higher self trying to bring in, which will, of course, trickle into the 3D space. So for those of you that are new to me, thank you so much for being here. If you resonate with me, I would love it if you would subscribe, comment, and let me know how this is resonating for you as well. So I know I'd love to get to know you more as well. Okay, so let's just dive right in. Oh, last thing I did want to mention is check the descriptions. I have a wait list for a Divine Feminine Collective, which is a membership group that I'm creating. You'll get the best prices. You'll also get to give me your personal feedback about what you would like about that. But it's all about aligning to union, working on your purpose work, and doing the inner work for yourself. So much of this process for the Divine Feminine is about working on herself and her own purpose work and really embodying love. So it's all about the purpose work, the love, the inner work, embodying self-love, and also, of course, energy check-ins and clearing work for the union. So let me know if you're interested in that. And if you're hearing this down the road, there might be a opt-in page below instead of a wait list. So check the description. Okay, and let me know if that sounds fun to you, if that's something you're interested in, to keep the energy moving, to have some more in-depth help, then it will be at a very reasonable price with extended clearing work and stuff like that. So the first thing for the Divine Feminine is justice. So this really feels like things are balancing out, right? You see those scales. I'm seeing her heart in one. And I feel like there's a lot of, it's like spiritual and physical. It's healing her heart. It's getting into action with herself. It's really the yin and yang, her masculine and feminine energy. She's finding her balance as well. I'm seeing, I know this isn't the temperance card, but I'm definitely feeling that right here. This is the head in a 3D space. So the Divine Feminine, of course, is finding balance. So, of course, justice, it is the justice card. So traditionally could mean justice will be served, fairness will prevail if there's anything in particular going on with you contractually or otherwise. But I'm mostly feeling like she is finding, she's staking her claim and she's finding her balance, even though this is not the temperance card. That's really what I'm feeling from this. Okay. I read intuitively a lot too, but you can take your own traditional, always listen to your own intuition too. Something I might say or in the card might bounce your own more specific meaning for you as well. And then he also has Four of Pentacles. So again, this is kind of the 3D space, the mental, the head, like what's really going on for her in the physical. And this is all about creating a solid foundation. And I see a few things here. So she's really working on owning her power, creating a solid foundation with her purpose work. A lot of you in your businesses. Another thing that I'm seeing in this card is creating healthy boundaries, right? Creating healthy boundaries and creating healthy structure for her day-to-day routine and for in her life. So I'm seeing that like you have really gone through a transformation and being able to love yourself even more with those boundaries, creating that solid foundation. And for many of you, this is also really diligently working on your money space and on your financial, on your purpose work, which is exactly the way to attract union, right? We do this through healing ourselves, through getting more and more in alignment with our unique purpose and gifts in the world and healing ourselves. And that is what becomes the beacon for the Divine Masculine. And of course, but we really do need to do that for ourselves. There's no bypassing this, okay? So awesome job, good for you. And I'm also seeing, now that I'm looking at this card, seeing her get her magic back, her manifesting abilities back. For a while, it could have been feeling stagnant or heavy, and I'm feeling like I'm just seeing this magical energy kind of start to percolate again. It's almost like that creativity is starting to spark up in that area of her life as well, which is really cool. And so the Divine Masculine, in his head in 3D space, is got the Justice card, which is Archangel Raguel. And so for the Divine Feminine, I used the Sun and Moon Tarot for the Divine Feminine. And for the Divine Masculine, I have the Angel Tarot by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine, which is based off the tarot, but a little bit, different meanings as well. So this is the number 8, the Justice card for Archangel Raphael. And it says, fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right and stand up for your beliefs. And it's, this is mirroring, right? Because they both have the Justice card in the physical 3D space in their own way. And I really feel like mostly this is within their own individual growth and lives. Most of you are, I think, in separation or very little communication, but mostly in separation, I feel like. And I see Archangel Michael here really helping the Divine Masculine bring that balance. And so again, if there's any contractual things, of course, that looks like it's going to weigh out in his favor. But what I'm mostly seeing here is that Archangel Michael, but it's Archangel Raphael on this card, but I do feel Archangel Michael is very much working with the Divine Masculine as well, the archangels in general, right? And so he's beginning to take a stand and do what he knows is right. He's beginning to have stand up for his beliefs, which is really awesome as well. So that if that is another person, or if that isn't, his business or whatever's going on for him, he's beginning to find that for himself as well, which is great. And the second card, he got 2 cards. Both of us got the Divine Feminine and Masculine, got 2 cards in the headspace in the mental 3D realm. And the other part is the 8 of Earth. It says he's working, which is the 8 of Pentacles. It says skilled work is rewarded. So learning all there is to know about a topic, going back to school. But what I'm really seeing is they are really just working and focusing in their career space. And for some of them, that might be, it's a good thing, I think, for each person to create their own stable foundation, for sure. Just like Divine Feminine is working her stable foundation, the Masculine already has a bit of a foundation, so they may be a little bit, creating a little bit more stronger structure in their workspace, in their career space, working hard on that. So that is good as well. Some of them I feel like could be using their work as an escapism or as a way to distract from what they're feeling and from their emotions. So many of them might be kind of in overworking or workaholic zone. But for the most part, I feel like they are, they're starting to, again, find, get their justice and find their balance and, focus on their selves. So that's great, right? So the next card is in the heart space. And for the Divine Feminine, we got the Judgment. And what I see in this one is really just, she is really tuned. I feel what I'm feeling from this intuitively is really tuned into her intuitive knowing, right? Really connecting spiritually, really begin to connecting with the angels, right, and their divine guidance, and really recognizing that this is divinely protected. So beginning to really start to surrender the need to have it happen now, really beginning to surrender the divine timing, really beginning to surrender and trust this process, and also really recognizing her guidance and speaking and following it, right? I can see that by working on her business and working on her foundation and her boundaries and her own balance, which is great. So awesome job. And for some of you, I'm hearing you could tune in a little bit more. So if you haven't been creating that quiet space, I know if this is present, like if you're hearing this while it's really live, we just went through a eclipse period, which was kind of intense. And so really, really, there's a lot of integration, a lot of letting go that's still happening from that full moon eclipse yesterday. This can be, of course, timeless whenever you're hearing this, but in terms of the current cosmic energies, the astrology, we are in that heavy release, and it's really important to take that time to quiet and to listen and to go within and herald that. And I do feel like you are open to it, you are willing, but you might be needing to take a little bit more self-care, self-nurturing, or quiet retreat time to actually hear that guidance and integrate all the growth and letting go that's just happened. And that's mirroring, actually, and I wasn't really paying attention, but that is actually mirroring what I got for the, in some ways, that last part at least, for what I got for the Divine Masculine in his heart space. Actually, it is released, Archangel Azrael, and this is a representative of the Tower in traditional tarot, I believe. Yes, it looks like it to me. But it's the end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, and time to move on. So I feel like many of them have completed cycles. Like I'm seeing this Justice card is very present. So there's, you know what I mean? Things ending, cycles ending, relationships ending, things of that nature. And so he's really going into in his heart space with all the feelings and things that have been being stirred up is into a little bit of a tower moment, which is really creating a beautiful spiritual transformation for him. And so some of them, again, maybe a little before or after for people. So they're either about to go into one or they've just had one, right? But this is in the heart. And so they're really recognizing that it's time to move on from some people, behaviors, things, and situations that are no longer serving. So that might take a little while to unfurl and unravel and to come into fruition for them, but they're definitely in a spiritual growth, and they're going along in the proper direction. They're moving through this cycle, okay? Now in the 5D, kind of like what I'm getting, like what your higher self is kind of what you're working on in the energetic realm, and what is beginning to now in a very short time trickle into your physical experience, if it hasn't already, what your higher self and your 5D self is creating for the Divine Feminine. You got the Prince of Wands. And what I'm feeling in this card is very much about creativity and seeing that fire. And I started to see that also, already just by starting to take action and focus and look at, creating this balance and creating this foundation for yourself and surrendering to the divine and divine timing and to your spiritual knowing, trusting the spiritual knowing. This passion and creativity is really starting to come forward for you. As you keep taking action, more creativity will come. And so this is really asking you to start taking action. You can see that this is like moving forward. It's not the Chariot, but I see like that Chariot energy of actually taking action and moving forward on your passion and your creativity, which I see mostly for most of you is resulting in your work that you're doing in the world, right? My main coaching for a long time now has been supporting people in awakening their spiritual gifts, their intuition, but aligning with their unique purpose and message, and standing up and being a leader, a soul-inspired leader, a messenger, a light worker, of really making that difference. And so I see it's really that you're continuing to move forward and being asked to move forward almost more fiercely as you move into this coming year. And that's really coming down. If it hasn't hit you already, it will. And it really will start. I feel like the daily routine of meditation and journaling and starting to take the actual action of these intuitive ideas is what's going to spark more of that. Now for the Divine Masculine in the 5D space, his higher self is really guiding him. It's the Balance card. I do want to point out the Divine Masculine has all three major arcanas, one of which in the center is the Tower, equivalent to the Tower, right? The release and spiritual transformation. So that's really awesome. He is really going through it. He's allowing himself to go through this process, even if it's not 100% conscious for him yet. It may or may not be on some level. Of course it is, because big changes will yield this. But that's really awesome. And so this Archangel Zadkiel is helping support this balance, or telling him, the higher self is also guiding him to needing more balance and more moderation. I do feel like for a lot of them, it could be moderation of overworking, and I'm speaking, again, I end up speaking to the Divine Feminine, even though I really want to speak to the masculine as well. I feel like more masculine are waking up, so I don't mean to not speak directly to you, but I know more women watch these as well. So cooperation and compromise, wait for perfect timing. That's the other thing, is higher self is truly guiding him on this perfect timing. And I feel like that's a bit what this card is representing as well. So both of you, the Divine Feminine and Masculine, are understanding and kind of yielding to that divine intervention and that divine time to happen at the right time. He's still going through his spiritual transformation, and that's important in order to bring balance and unity for this relationship. And in the meantime, the Divine Feminine's doing what they need to be doing by focusing on themselves, finding their own balance, and working on their purpose work, and creating more solid foundation for themselves, so they can enter into the union in a balance, right? In a balanced way, in a non-codependent way, but each bringing the whole parts of themselves together, which is what that twin flame journey is about. And so I see him beginning to surrender more, or being asked. He's going to start surrendering even more. He may still be in a little resistance, but mostly this card is, even though it's Tower, it's released. It's a little bit more gentle. It's a little bit more of like, I feel like a lot of them have just released what they're trying to release, and now they're just trying to gather the pieces and find their balance, okay, for the most part. Now, this card is I wanted to pull a card, which is a pretty deck from Doreen Virtue. It's called the Butterfly Transformation Butterfly. I have to look for the deck, but essentially it's a transformation deck. And so I thought it would be fun to just get a clarity of what exactly is the transformation each person, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, is being called to right now. And this makes perfect sense, as always, right? The divine feminine, it's be true to you, right? You're learning, you're embracing deeper levels of self-love, of self-respect, of self-discipline, of authenticity. For those of you who are really sharing your message or already have a coaching or healing business, you're really taking it to the next level of really honoring your own voice and your own truth and your own uniqueness, instead of trying, I don't only think, well, some of you may be trying to fit in with the crowd, but for the most part, I don't think that's the case. I think we're all kind of, the one that rocks the boat in the family, I should say, the one that's a little bit different, but we're embracing that uniqueness more, right? And so this is really asking you to extend that into your business, into your relationships, into your conversations, even more fully. Kind of let that true self shine, even though it might be uncomfortable. I feel like you're really stepping more into your power about not worrying about people's judgments or fear of judgments of others. But if you are, just know that as you keep, as you stretch your comfort zone and keep stepping more and more into the truth of who you are, that you're going to get triggered on these things. But that's how the growth is, right? Our miracles and our destiny, our joy, our highest potential, and our everything is on the other side of our comfort zone. So this is really just asking you to continue to stretch your comfort zone and be true to you, right? Which I think you're doing a beautiful job of doing, but that is sort of the inner work that you've been being called to. And I really had a lot to do with that inner heart space. Divine Masculine got 2 cards for what he's really currently working on. And again, spiritual growth comes up, right? So this is like him really actually, he's going through it, right? It might be in different words. It might be in different routes. It may not be the route that the divine feminine took, or it might be, right? It may be more like he goes to a therapist or a, some sort of get some group support. Perhaps they're releasing addictions, going to AA meetings, or who knows, right? I think some of the masculine does have addiction things they're releasing, but not all of them. Some of them may be just getting, support from friends, whatever it is. They're going through the spiritual situation and they're getting their support. I feel they're beginning to get their support, okay? And take action in a way that fuels their growth. They're becoming more aware of that something, they need to shift something, and that they might actually need some support with it. And some of them may be into the spiritual stuff or becoming more spiritual through this process. And some of them might go about it through more traditional means in the beginning, for sure. Now, the next one is that he got as well, the divine masculine, is welcome the new. And so this is, I see the transformation in this, and I just see where it kind of goes along with his releasing the past, releasing the old, the justice card. Like all of his is really, he's allowing this eclipse energy that we're in. And if, again, timeless, if it's not, doesn't happen always, but he's allowing that letting go process to happen. And he is making space for the new, I should say, whether he's clear on what that looks like in terms of the divine feminine union. All of you guys are at different phases. You might still be in just a space of like realizing that he's kind of creating a new beginning for himself so that he can have true love. He may not even be thinking true love is the thing that he's looking for right now. He might just be thinking, okay, this life's not working. I can't deal with that drama anymore of those types of relationships. And so now I'm coming into a new beginning because I desire more, I want more, I deserve more. And that's when, the sprinkling of especially for those of you that haven't met your person yet, of awareness of like, oh, starting to hear more and feel that calling and starting to actually do the calling in of the soulmate, whether he calls it that or not, right? Just kind of awakening to wanting that more stable type relationship, more committed relationship. And for some of them, it's going to be that they're not resisting the union, right? Some of them, I think, had a lot of like freedom's a big deal to them. And so, as is for us too, right? The funny thing is, I think that the divine masculine sometimes looks at a relationship can mean that there's no more freedom. And sometimes the divine feminine. But really, we both seek freedom. And so the whole key of this relationship and the twin flame journey is that we get to be independently sovereign and come together and not break down the old codependency types of relationship foundations and styles, which is why we're doing all of this, inner work, so that we can embody that self-love, embody unconditional love for ourselves. And then through that process, we're anchoring light into the planet, helping everybody else ascend. And when that happens, we are also attracting in that level of love, right? And so that's just the process, how I believe. So again, if you're interested in, if you believe in that kind of philosophy and you realize that it's an inner game, and the end goal is here, right? We have to surrender the outcome, and we have a higher purpose we're serving for ourselves and for humanity. And within that, we get to experience the depths of love that a lot of people won't get to in this lifetime, right? And yeah, so I just wanted you to be aware of that. That is the process. Oh yeah, so I have the wait list for the membership below. So click that. It's just click a link, no obligation, but you'll be getting more information. You'll be able to give me your feedback, and you'll get the best pricing and open early bird special. Okay. Now, some of the advice cards for each of them. The advice cards for the Divine Feminine, for the Romance Angels by Doreen Virtue, the first one is pay attention to the red flags and chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. So what I'm getting from this is some of it, a couple of things come up right away. So pay attention to how you're feeling. Pay attention to everything you've just gone through. You're going through a lot of self-worth. And so some of it is reprogramming how we react and our habits and how we respond to people, things, and situations. And I feel like this is asking you to not act impulsively. Like some of it, because the chemistry is there, it's like you want to reach out, you want to, it's like, you want to go there. And some of you guys might be not paying attention to the red flags, meaning you're not paying fully attention to how you're feeling, whether how that person's treating or how other people are. Perhaps in your business relationships and your family dynamics, right? Really paying attention to how you allow other people to treat you. And all of those things are helping you to break down the unhealthy codependent patterning and heal any of those abuse things you might have had in the past. I'm getting this feeling like some of you might have gone through narcissistic, abusive kind of relationships. And so some of this is like, if you're feeling like this anxiousness or like hard to stay surrendered into the divine timing or wanting to react or wanting to reach out, like kind of all these impulsive feelings. Some of it is that you're being called to actually heal at a deeper level of some of these other past relationship issues or even past life things that are going on. But more than anything, it's like paying attention to how you're feeling and how you let other people treat you in relationships in all areas, including, of course, the divine masculine, but also in every area, so that you can, create how we allow other people to treat us, how we allow ourselves to be treated. So it's about having, having the good boundaries, which is what was being created over here in the beginning of your 3D mental space as well. And then chemistry, right? You can't deny there's strong magnetic chemistry there, right? So if you use that chemistry, use that passion I'm feeling and that fire to really support you and heal yourself, but also you can use that, create that chemistry and that passion and that sexual second chakra energy to ground for your business, for your creativity, right? You can do that. And actually that's kind of where I feel you're being called to do right now. The next one for the advice cards for the Divine Feminine is Page of Ariel, which is like the Page of Pentacles. It says reliable, clever, educated, and balanced as far as a person's characteristics. And it says, the card says, an excellent opportunity you'll be offered to you, scholarship or pursuit of education, time to get to work. Biggest thing I'm feeling is time to get to work on your purpose work. Again, I work with spiritual, I help people really step more fully into their purpose work, messengers, those who want to be speakers, authors, writers, coaches, healers, or really make that impact and income their heart's desires, right? So you are getting intuitive ideas. You are being called into your purpose work. This is really where you're being called to take action right now. And you have been, I can see that. This is just keep going with that. And I do have some personal mentorship openings, so you can reach out to me. I'll put my email below if that's something that you would like to support with. I work on 3 6-month intervals usually with people to help them. It's always an inner game thing and a soul alignment, Akashic. I do energy and psychic reading with the tangible. Let's get your stuff put into a tangible form so that you can have a solid business foundation. Okay. Ten of Michaels is the next card for you, Divine Feminine. And it says the situation has ended and you are finally free. New opportunities for happiness will now follow. Put the past behind you. Real quick, going back to this, what just popped up was also pay attention to the opportunities that are coming towards you, perhaps collaborations, be open. Sometimes we can have our blinders on for like focusing on one thing or maybe focusing on a relationship or focusing on one way the business works. This is asking you to take the blinders off, open up, and be aware of what partnerships or mentors or workshops or books or ideas that are coming to you, so that you can take action on them, okay? Because it might be time to learn something new or expand your repertoire, okay? But this is kind of like, essentially it's Ten of Swords, and I feel like it goes with this, pay attention to red flags. So part of this is just, but in this deck, it's really saying that this situation has ended, you're free, right? So allow yourself to have new opportunities for happiness and don't allow the past to dictate you. So this is really doing that, continuing that inner healing work so that you don't have those knee-jerk, just noticing if you have the knee-jerk reactions or you have the pain, then don't ignore them, feel them, work through them, but knowing that it's behind you. It's really stepping into your newness now and letting go of the old, really continuing if you need to do the deeper healing work on those old stories and old past things, but really I'm feeling it's just like a relief and like a validation that you've done a great job healing and letting go of these things. And it's really just a validation that you're stepping into your next level identity. Like this is 2019. And again, this is timeless, but for 2019, we just did so much clearing work as light workers last year. We literally are stepping into a whole new world, a new identity that's available to us, but we have to be willing to disengage from this last version of yourself so you can be the 2.0. The next version is ready. Okay, and then I pulled 2 crystal cards, energies that you can just connect with energetically to support you, or possibly the exact, getting the crystals, and also a message. Okay, this is Solidite, and it says making healthy, socialize or join in, making healthy and new supportive friendships, connections by getting involved with groups of like-minded people. Oh, well, this works perfect with my membership site because that's the idea. At Collective, Divine Feminine Collective, to empower, inspire, and move forward in our purpose work, our inner healing, and all of that. So you might have some meetup groups around town. You might want to join some sort of thing like I'm starting, or you might want to, maybe for some, I know a lot of Divine Feminine, we're being called into like cleaner eating, maybe you're not drinking alcohol, so going into groups like maybe that other people who are going vegan, if you just went vegan, like getting the support that you need of people who are like-minded. But I also feel like mostly that understand your journey, and other light workers that can get you would be validating. And also important for you to really, it's about grounding yourself in your life to be complete and fulfilled on your own, not needing the divine masculine to fill it for you, right? Not needing him to fill that void. That's when the union gets to come in, when you're feeling whole and complete and sovereign within. And so this is about setting yourself up in community with people socially, as well as, and perhaps I'm also hearing, and I can attest to this for myself too, I'm taking it in for myself, is, I was kind of a hermit last year. I was going through a lot of internal transformation myself, and I didn't go out that much. I didn't see people. I was really inside a lot. Now it's like time to get out, try to be more social, make time for the movie days with friends, or make time for painting or going and taking a class that's fun for you, like really making time to get out and be with people more, right? I think that's also important. Kyanite is the next crystal, and it says make time for self-care. So taking care of yourself is essential. And so this is a beautiful, I just got a pink kyanite. Oh my goodness, super, super high vibrational love stone. It's like, rose quartz is for love as well, but the pink kyanite is just like really a high vibration, and we're opening our heart and our high heart. So we're opening new energetic frequencies within us. We're allowing ourselves to upgrade our physical vibration to be able to hold in the higher vibration of that divine love, that unconditional love. And then also just our psychic information is opened up in terms of ancient wisdom and really being light bearers on the next level, right? Holding more light in our physical bodies. And I feel like this is a really high vibrational stone for that. And self-care is essential for that as well. So massage, salt bath, not building your schedule up so crazy to where you don't have time for you. Like that's a key component. And actually you'll attract more money and more clients and more all of that, because you just will, trust me. When you have that vibration, you're in an attraction mode. It's very, very high vibrating, and it will attract clients, it'll attract ideas, it'll attract abundance, it'll attract opportunities, it'll attract the masculine, it will attract love, joy, happiness, peace, and all of those things as well. Now, the divine masculine's guidances is the first one is flirt. So extend your lighthearted energy to others. So he's being asked, I also feel playfulness within this card, but perhaps it's like, it is kind of that beginning time for those of you, depending on everybody's stages are different. Maybe it's time for the divine masculine to be able to extend a lighthearted conversation and flirt a little with the divine feminine. Or maybe if you are in communication, but it's been kind of bleak or whatever, it's time to spice back up that relationship, or perhaps reach out if it's been a while. But in general, it feels like just extending lighthearted energy. I feel like the divine masculine's also been kind of serious and going through a lot, right? So it's time to lighten up. Oh, yeah. Well, heart-to-heart conversations, though, it was exactly what I originally said. Honestly, discuss your feelings with each other. So it is time for many of the masculine to be reaching out to their divine feminine, and perhaps heart-to-heart conversations with other people too. Could be with their children, with family members. You know, if there's something that wasn't being spoken honestly or truthfully, or they were not having good boundaries within, or something like that is going on, then having that heart-to-heart conversation of authentic truth is important. But mostly, I'm really feeling like it's a lot of the masculine are being called, or they're, to tune in and take action. Don't be afraid. I feel like for the most part, these divine feminines will receive you well if you come with honest, open, authentic communication. And if not, everyone's got their own thing. It's a general read as far as that goes, but it's going to be getting the energy moving. And for your own self, it feels like a healing on your heart and a healing on your throat, because there's been a lot of withholding of your emotional expression and your actual true feelings. And so that's going to be a healing in and of itself, regardless of how the feminine responds in that moment. But for majority of this group, I feel like the feminine are pretty solid in understanding, this process and the divine or the twin flame journey in a pretty enlightened way. And so, yeah, as long as you're honest and authentic, I think that heart-to-heart communication will be very healing for both of you. And now he's also got the 2 of Gabriel and 4 of Gabriel, which is the wands energy. I love it. So the 2 of Gabriel says, make a bold, ambitious choices. Great progress is possible. Important relationships with people who share your vision. And so he's kind of being called after that tower, right after the spiritual growth. Old friends and sometimes jobs and people and situations that you used to enjoy aren't going to excite you anymore. It's not going to light your fire anymore, right? And so it's important to get in more community, but I'm also definitely feeling, it's important. This is kind of part of that, have those heart-to-heart conversations. It feels like be courageous and share your passion and share your vision with your divine feminine and tell her what's been going on. I feel like it's going to be very healing also, because some of this stuff will have probably been very mystical and spiritual, and maybe the first time that you've experienced this kind of things for the divine masculine. And so it'll be really validating to have these conversations with one another. And I'm also seeing those angels. I see a rainbow within this that was reminding me of the angels and the divine covenant that's there protecting and guiding. And the next one is the 4 of Gabriel, which is like 4 of wands, right? And it says time for celebration, abundant reward of hard work, release yourself from burdensome situations. So this is really still, I'm just seeing it more as a move into that space. Allow yourself to receive that celebration. Allow yourself to know that you're worthy of it. Allow yourself to know that all this hard work you just did, all that spiritual growth is worth it. And again, I see the angel hovering over, guiding this. This really is a divinely guided union. And express yourself, express your love, express your feelings, express your passion. And again, all of you, everyone's at different stages of the relationship. So some of you might just be beginning to date. Some of you might just be meeting the person soon, but most of you, I feel like, have met the person, just kind of aren't speaking or in conversation right now. So it might be it feels just more like this newer beginning. Reboost is kind of coming after all this work has been done. So divine feminine, just keep at it, keep doing your thing. You're doing awesome. Keep focusing on that. The more that you feel more stable and sovereign and love and money and finances and all those things within yourself, the more attractive and alluring and magnetic that is, because you're just on fire with your creativity. Your creativity needs that channel to be expressed, and it's through your purpose. And Divine Masculine, awesome job, especially, you know, if you're to the point of seeing this. I mean, just congratulations on all that huge spiritual growth. I know it's intense, but you've done awesome. I mean, there's all these major arcanas here, so I know that you've been going through it, but you're not alone. You've got lots of spiritual support, and a very passionate new beginning with your divine feminine as well, which would be an entirely new level and new type of relationship and connection. So yeah, I'm excited. This looks really, really positive, really awesome. Again, yeah, check out the link below. I'd love to get your feedback. I have a couple of different options I'm considering for supporting the Divine Feminine Collective in terms of their, you know, connecting in there. It's really, I can't remember exactly what I wrote down. It's Divine Feminine Collective, align to purpose, embody self-love, and attract your union. And so it's just going to be a lot more deeper support, but at the cost, I don't know for sure, but I really can see it as two options. Maybe one that just gives some extended reading and clearing work each month, right? And then the other one is going to include like much deeper clearing work, and also really getting your purpose work going and doing that inner healing work so that you can become that vibrational match to attracting your union, right? Because you're going to be so on track with your purpose and so on, so embodied in your self-love. And ultimately, regardless of what the twin flame decides, you know, because we all have free will of choice, the more work you do on this, the more higher vibrating you're going to be at your high. You're going to be able to be in a my intention is to have you be able to clear so much and be so aligned and be so inspired and be so passionate that you will attract a high level, the highest level divine partnership that's available to you, right? And most of you, I believe, will be with the twin flame. But if for some reason you're not, it's like you're going to have this amazing soulmate connection. You're not going to be left high and dry. You're not going to be doing all this work for nothing. This is actually, you're doing this work for you. You're doing it because this is what you're called to do, what your soul signed up to do. You have an important message. You have important gifts. And that is one of my favorite things, is helping people really activate, embody, uncover their unique gifts and message so that they can go make that income and impact in the world. And now recently, as I've been activated onto my twin flame journey to the next level, after meeting, then I now see that I have been doing this all along, but now it's time to include that heart clearing, anchoring in and embodying Christ consciousness, unconditional love, all of this stuff for ourselves and the planet. And that is what brings the union together. So I am really excited to be holding that space for all of you. So let me know your comments below. Check out, pretty soon I'll have a more detailed website, but when you sign up on the wait list, you'll be receiving kind of a quick, like, boom, boom, boom. You can just click the things that interest you, so I know what the majority of you would like within it, if you'd like something more in depth or something more simple. And again, the cost will be very, very reasonable because it's going to be a group community, and that's what we need to be doing too, supporting each other. And I think that one of the other things that's really important as we build our businesses and just in general is the women working together, right? As we start to build these communities of amazing, strong, ambitious, successful, soul-inspired women, we get to break down all the old constructs of competition, of lack, of all of those things, and collaborate together, which will only strengthen getting our message out in a bigger way, right? And I know all of you are being called. Your heart is calling you to do these things. And if you're not sure what your purpose is, you know what, get in the mix, because you will awaken to it. I'm an awakening catalyst, that's for sure. Psychic healer, intuitive, and spiritual mentor and life purpose coach. So definitely reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll also put my email below, but sign up for the waitlist if you are interested. And please share, like, and comment or subscribe if you like my style of reading. I would love to support you further. I will also be doing more just content around, getting out of the telepathic looping. There already are some. I have a playlist on my channel that you can check out with some, but I'll be creating more of those for you as well. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.